Yo, yo, yo. What it is, everyone. How's it going tonight? Unfinished project. What is up, my man? How you doing tonight? Good to see you. Drop a link in here. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him for today, but Dakota was supposed to join in tonight. We'll see. Let me get set up here, my man, and I'll be on. We'll get everything down in under control. Let me get a link. Lake Motorsports, how's it going tonight? Let me go ahead. I'm going to get a link to the chat here going on. If someone wants to jump in, they'll be able to as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. You know how that goes. I'm always doing something. Let's see. I need to invite guests. Invite guests. My link. You know me, guys. I'm not tech savvy. I'm getting there though. I'm learning this stuff. Eventually, I'll get it. But how's everybody doing tonight? It's been a busy day running around. I had to work on Amanda's mom's Jeep. She had a leaking wheel cylinder that we found out at the last minute. So I had to run around in the parts store, give me the wrong parts. So that really put me way behind. How's everybody doing? Okay, there's a link. Pat Max, hello, how's it going? Unfinished project. Lake Motorsports, what is up? Oh, how are you doing tonight? It is Sunday night here in the beautiful cold Northeast. What's up, Lars? How's it going, buddy? Thanks for popping in. I dropped a drink all over the ground, still covered with leaves and everything else. But what is going on? Well, guys, right now, the full-time thing, it's working, man. We're ticking up with some hours. You know how that goes. I mean, it's kind of the full-time thing anyway because our swimming pool gig ended probably in September. We was done, so that happens, so that was one thing why it would give me more time to focus on it. But it's focused on a little bit. We're getting there, working all the details out. Tommy's going to join us here in a little bit. He was eating his food and I didn't want to interrupt his dinner, so but he'll be with us here in a few minutes. Like I said, everything's going good. We're getting there, slowly ticking away at our watch hours. That's the biggest thing. It seems to take forever. I'm going to put a headset in here. What's up? What's up, man? How's everybody doing tonight? Like I said, I know that's redundant. We broke down. The Cutlass is no longer our street car right now. Unfortunately, we had to break down. We needed a beater with a heater, so we're running that Monte Carlo SS. So since it's a pile anyway, look forward. We're going to spray some nitrous through it here shortly. I'm just going to pull the kit off of the Cutlass because what we're doing for next year, we will no longer need it. So I'm going to pull that. It's just in Nitrous Express mainline kit. Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it's 4,000 is a tough number when when they don't factor in the shorts. I mean, I understand that they're not monetized, but if we have 10 times that number with shorts, but it doesn't count. So it is what it is. It's fine. We're getting there though. Everything looks good. Like I said, we're getting the traffic. We started that Facebook page. That really helps. I noticed a couple videos that I posted on there. It really helped with the traffic. We got more views on those videos than what we're getting on the regular ones. So it's getting there. Like I said, we didn't expect this to just be instant. We knew it was going to take time and work, and that's what separates everybody with this stuff. It's the guys that. Yeah, I got the injector for the SS. It's running good. Well, mostly running good. It's still got a weird misfire. If you lug the motor down, I'm thinking it's spark. I'm going to go probably this week. If it isn't too cold, I'm going to pull the plugs out of it and check them and look at the wires. I mean, because that's what it seems like. I don't know if you've ever had I've had bad plug wires that under normal conditions would work good, but as soon as you put like a load on the motor at a low RPM, that's when they would kind of like a weak coil on an old car. Yeah, I know what you mean. Unfinished project. It takes a while. It'll get there though. It is what it is. We still get by. Like I said, I know I live this time of the year anyway without much. You try to save what you can during the summer when you're going good to get through the winter. So it's not like we're not going to starve anytime soon, but we just got more time to focus on this. So we'll get there. I said I noticed today I ended up doing a wheel cylinder on a 99 or a 2000 Jeep Cherokee. Fun, but it wasn't bad. But we had a leaky wheel cylinder, and because of the leaky wheel cylinder, we went to the parts store. Yeah, I got a page up. Yeah. Well, I got a Facebook page up. We got Tommy's working on an actual web page for us. We have the website, but we got to get it set up. But here on, I guess, on a Jeep Cherokee XJ, there's a 9-inch brake and a 10-inch brake. Well, the guy at the parts store literally screwed my entire day up because of this, because it was a simple wheel cylinder. I looked at him like, okay, it's a nice day. This shouldn't take but, a half hour to change a wheel cylinder on a Jeep. I'm always working on this thing. I just did the brakes and stuff on it and put new U-joints in the front axle maybe the week before No Name. So I do the maintenance on this vehicle, so it's not a big deal. Went to run down to the parts store locally to pick up a wheel cylinder. Talked to the parts jockey behind the counter who needed to know irrelevant stuff. He asked me all the irrelevant stuff, but none of the important stuff. I forgot. It's been a while since I did this. I forgot that this only had the 9-inch brakes on the back and didn't have the 10-inch brakes. So long story short, they sold me a wheel cylinder. I took it home, had the thing tore apart in the alley behind my house to work on it, and had the wrong wheel cylinder. Took that back to that store. They didn't have the one I needed in stock. So after I run to 2 more stores, I ended up, what's up, Wendy English? Thanks for popping in. So we ended up getting it, and we got it wrapped up around 6 o'clock. We were letting it down off the jack, and I was washing my hands off and getting ready to beat feet down here to the shop to do our live. So busy day. Yesterday was plumbing day. I installed a heater at my house. I put a little propane supplement heater in with a blower and stuff. So yesterday was housework. I was crawling underneath the house, running propane lines and moving tanks and attaching heaters and all that good stuff. But it was nice last night because I heat with wood mostly. Majority of the time, I got a wood burner in the house, and it keeps the house nice. Yeah, maybe so. That's a cool tidbit fact. I didn't know that about Jeeps. I didn't know that's why they have 7 slats. Makes sense. I don't know. The XJ is probably the last of the real Jeeps anyway. I mean, that in a couple years they left as a TJ. I don't really, these JKs to me are just too wide. They're not in the spirit of the original Jeep and what the original Jeep was for. And I strike controversy when I say that, but I truly believe that. What made the Jeep TJ, the Jeep YJ, the Jeep CJ, and even like your XJ Cherokees, what made those vehicles so great was that they were narrow. And the problem with being narrow ended up being a detriment to them because that's what the government went after them for. And I just don't like when they come out with the JK, they basically stuck full width axles underneath them, made the body a little bit wider. It made it so dumb people can drive them without killing herself, but at the same time, then it lost that one thing that was a beauty that made the early Jeeps work. And that was said, the fact that they were small, you could rip a Jeep down a quad path, no problem. And then these new ones are as big as a full-size pickup truck. To me, I don't know if they wanted to be like, that. Well, I know why they went wide. They went wide because of the government pressure on them with the rollovers. But then I don't know why with the JK, why they was going after that Hummer look. To me, it seems like they wanted to be Hummer with the hard top and the small side glass. I don't know. Jeep had a unique enough brand of their own. I don't see where they really needed to do that. They should have just stood out. But hey, be happy. I guess at least it still has a straight front axle. So we can't discount the JK that much. It does have solid axles and a real transfer case. So that's good for it. But I remember years ago reading an article years ago. This was probably in the late 90s, and they had the president Jeep at the time, and they was doing an interview with him, and he said that they would quit making the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm getting tongue tied. Basically, Jeep said they would quit making the Grand Cherokee before they ever made it independent front suspension. And then it was like a few months after that that's when Daimler bought, majority of the Chrysler Corporation. And next thing you know, the Grand Cherokee was shared a platform with the Durango, which, from the bean counter side, that's why it made sense. But I mean, I don't think in a minute that they dropped the solid axle on the Jeep ZJ, the Grand Cherokee. They didn't drop that solid axle for ride, because honestly, those Grand Cherokees of them years ride every bit as good with that straight axle as anything with independent suspension, if not better, because you don't get the rockiness that you do with a solid axle in the rear and independent in the front. But that's just my opinion on that. We'll stick with the Suzukis. They're just getting harder and harder to find parts, so maybe a little bit we'll let the Suzuki, it can sneak its head in back there. There's my two front end Samurai back there hiding in the corner. It'll be back together here by next spring. When we go our Memorial Day off-road trip next year, it'll be there. Wonder if Dakota got his, he might not be here till late. Yeah, it's pretty cool, dude. That thing's been sitting there in that corner for probably 15 years. I built the four-door tracker. I took the entire driveline out of that and put under that four-door tracker. What's up, Jason's Garage? How's it going? Thanks for popping in. But I took the entire driveline out of the four-door tracker, putting the four-door tracker when the kids were little, so we could still go off-roading together. The kids could ride in the back seat, not get hit with branches and covered with mud. But now that they're all grown up, Tommy's old enough, he has his own Samurai. His sister has a Nissan Pathfinder on like 35-inch tires that she goes when we go with that. So I'm going to put my buggy back together this year. That way I can have it. The nice thing about it, even though it's tall and everything, I kept it street legal, because that opens here in the Northeast. We don't have a lot of public land that you can off-road in, at least on the western side of Pennsylvania. We don't have a lot of public trails and stuff. Everything around here is pretty much state game land, and you don't dare want to get caught driving anything on that. They come after you, and they've gotten really bad on it lately. They went as far as they hide game cameras in the woods, because they got us a couple years ago. We was out riding on what the GPS lists as a township road. It's listed as Sandy Flat Road. It's a local road in our area. We was riding in the snow. We got about 2 miles down in on that dirt road, and next thing we know, I was surprised that this full-size Chevy pickup even made it down there in the snow. But he comes up, and it had the ghosted graphics on the side, and he turned the lights on. Here it was the game commission, and he's like, yeah, we've been watching you guys on the game cameras come up here on the weekends now. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a township road. And he's like, no, it's not a township road anymore. And he cited us for being there. But I got out of mine. I think the other three that was with me, they just said and paid it, but we pled out on it. We wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to plead guilty. I mean, free man doesn't need to ask for permission to drive down a public road. But yeah, there's really nowhere to off-road around here other than private parks and private property. But we have a couple little spots, and over across the state line in Ohio, we got a place over there. It's mostly private property, but you can four-wheel over there. There's Wellsville, Ohio. That's a pretty big four-wheeling spot, but it's one of them things that you're always figuring it's going to get shut down one year because of everybody carrying on and all the drinking and partying it goes, which we don't condone. If you're going to go off-road, you want to party at camp when you're done, that's fine, but don't be ripping around the trails all tanked up, man. You're not only Do you risk hurting yourself or hurting somebody else that's there to have a good time? But you give our sport a bad name. Yeah, they still try to write you up. I know, it's ridiculous. Yeah, but it's crazy. That's the thing is we pay all this money. This state has all this land, and there's already established trails on most of this land. If they would just, what's up, if they would just sell permits, and be a little bit more lenient, like West Virginia is with the Hatfield McCoy trails, man, you could bring so much tourism money in this area because we have a beautiful area. I said, yeah, enforce staying on the trail. I don't condone that. Don't come out there. Don't get all liquored up and drive your truck out through the woods and run trees over and make new trails. But it's the people that dump stuff more to get stuff shut down. I mean, we're against that altogether. If we're out riding and we catch somebody dumping, I mean, it's worse on them probably than they probably wish the police caught them. Usually, it's like you're going to pick all that stuff up, you're going to put it back in your vehicle, and you're going to get out of here, and we better not catch you down here again. Because we got a local spot down here that we go to, and I've been going there since I was a kid, and it's a shame because what happens is the road's open, so everybody either takes cars and burns down there, or they take their trash. I know you guys get all kinds of trails in Tennessee. What is it? There's one mountain over there in eastern Tennessee they're always talking about. I used to have a bunch of friends back when Pirate 4x4 was real big. I used to know a bunch of guys on there that lived in Tennessee. That's back when North Carolina had a lot of their trails open too. I can't think of that trail's name in North Carolina. Crap. There used to be a trail though in North Carolina that would tie in back over towards Tennessee. Crap, I'll think of it here. It'll come to me eventually. But yeah, I remember North Carolina shut it down. There was a lot of disappointed people because a lot of guys, like especially like with these samurais and stuff, we build these buggies custom to run certain terrain. Yeah, like mine is built to run Creek Falls. It's what my suspension's set up for. That's the type of tire I have. My drive line's set up for it. Brown Mountain. I've heard of Brown Mountain. There's another big one. Oh, I cannot think of what the name of it is. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue too. I'll start talking about something else. It'll come to me here, but there's a lot of trails. I know a lot of guys that ride out there. Guess it's a good time. Fun. One day we'll get out there though. I know that I got friends that go to Hatfield McCoy's every summer, so they take their side by sides down there. But see, that's another thing. I mean, that's a double-edged sword you hate to talk about. Side by sides are it's like a love-hate relationship with them. Side by sides are fun to jump in and rip around. They are. But they've gotten so expensive anymore, man. I just can't justify spending that kind of money on something that this state doesn't allow you to ride on a road. So there's no hope of ever getting a permit and even driving that down the road from trail to trail, because if the police catch you, they're going to cite you for it. So, and then the problem with side by sides is it's so easy that anybody with credit goes in, signs their name, gets a high interest loan on it, makes payments on it, and now they think they're all Ivan Stewart off road, and they come down in the woods in places that they've never been, and they're like locusts, man. They'll swarm into a local trail. They'll show up there every weekend, dozens of them. They'll rip and tear and destroy the landscape. And then when people complain enough, they'll put a gate up, and then just like locusts, once they destroy it, they'll move on to their next victim. And we've lost a couple trails around here because of people on side by sides. Like, I've met a lot of good guys. I don't mean to characterize everybody on that with the side by side thing, but it has brought a lot of unwelcome attention to the off-road world because of people running those. So, oh, I love the 300EX, man. That's my favorite four-wheeler. Yeah, see, that's around here. We don't get nothing, man. Yeah. Yeah, they get it to run and see. Yeah, I know. And around here, like I said, we got all this between the abandoned strip mines. What's up, Ed's Machines? Numbers are between the abandoned strip mines here in Pennsylvania. So we had a lot of strip mines. After they were done with the coal mines, they stripped off pretty much everything around here. But between the abandoned strip mines and all the game land, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of acres that have established trails on. The majority of these trails, because they've been logged through the years, even the state contracts and logs out their game lands over the years. You know, so as a non-toxic live, but through the years they run all that, and their trails are there. Everything's been logged. Just sell a permit and let people run a little bit on there, man. Give somebody a little bit of place, because like I said, Pennsylvania is just, I mean, they're the fun Nazis when it comes to off-road. I mean, it's really sad, like I said, that it's honestly why we don't do it as much. We used to go for, what's up, John? Thanks for popping in. We used to go off-road literally every Sunday like church, man. It didn't matter. You'd take the buggy out. You'd fix stuff. You'd see what broke. You see what worked, what didn't work. You'd bring it home. You'd work on it all week during the week, making your changes, fixing what you broke. Next Sunday, you do it again. And we did that every year. Oh, man, I know probably 8-10 years straight we did that. Just really getting on it, really going off-road, hardcore stuff. I mean, we got really into more so the rock crawling and the rock bouncing, because obviously I'm an idiot and I run Suzuki motors, and they make about 90 horsepower. 90 horsepower with a 37-inch tire doesn't equal much speed. You end up with 100-to-1 gear reduction just to get the thing to work. But we ended up with rock crawlers, and around here, East Coast, we got big rocks. They're just covered with slime and mud. It's not like the stuff out west. Them guys out there got it made when it comes to rock crawling. Everything's dry and such vast land. All of our rocky trails are between trees, so your bodies take a beating on them. And with off-roading, it's not when you roll over, or if you roll over, it'll be when you roll over, because you're going to lay one over. Here, I'm kicking the tripod again. I need to check, take you guys with me here, go check, see if Tommy's done eating real quick. He's going to join me. Said I want to welcome everybody for taking time out of their busy day to stop in and see what we're doing. I appreciate it. Said I don't know where Dakota was supposed to join us tonight, but I'm not sure. Maybe he ran into something. Maybe something happened. It's not a big deal. If he doesn't, we'll catch him on another night. What's that? Are you? All right. I'm going to try. Is Tommy down here? Tommy in the living room kitchen? Well, I thought he was going to come on live. Well, it's fine. I didn't know. I'm going to go in. I just didn't know if he was coming on. Well, I didn't want to interrupt him while I was eating. That's all. Sorry, guys. A little technical difficulty here, but no, I didn't want to interrupt him while he was eating. I know he was eating. I left my drink out in the garage. I'll get it. Once Tommy comes in, if he's going to join. If he's got something to do, I ain't going to make him, so I asked him, but he might have something to do. All right, we'll just come in here a little bit. It's a little warmer here anyway. It's pretty cold out there. Temperature falls quick this time of year. So what's everybody into? Yeah, Tommy's slacking. Tommy's always slacking. That's his middle name. And West Virginia, and you can drive four-wheelers on the road, and they don't. Yeah, I know. It's, you know, and it's easy to do. It can be done around here, Wendy. I mean, townships have that with the township roads. I mean, our township roads, some of them are painted, but the township has the ability that they can legalize off-road vehicles on the roads in the township, but just make it that. Make it have a zero tolerance policy. If you're speeding on an ATV, or you're not wearing a helmet, or you're operating unsafe in any way on a public road, take your permit away. Other than that, give them a permit and let them ride from trail to trail on a main road. Let them, because we would have these hotels and these campgrounds full every weekend if they would let us off road. What's up, dude? We're talking about ATV and off road.
Oh, then you wasn't game commission getting mad at you because
I was driving on a township road. It's no longer a township road. Yeah. That's fine.
I'm just popping in for a little bit. I need to store some stuff.
Yeah, Hill Jack said you're slacking. Telling me slacking. We got a lot of people on there.
Well, if I didn't have to go with her today, I would have edited some videos today because I didn't really have anything.
All right, well, here we got a lot of our friends in here right now. Jason's Garage, Unfinished Project, Hill Jack, Hippie Miller. Lars is in here.
Battery here.
Not yet. Pat Max. No, Mopar ain't. I don't know where, like I said, Ed's Machine, Joel Wilburn stopped in. I mean, we got a lot of people. Wendy English is in here. Everybody stopped in. Having a good time. Yeah, well, like I said, Dakota was supposed to join. Maybe he must have had an issue. You know what I mean? I put a link up there. I don't know if anybody else wants to join in. There's a link posted at the top of back in the chat. I got a link up there. Anybody's welcome to join in.
Did you know in PA, vanity plate costs the same as a regular plate? You just gotta apply for it.
Yeah.
Both cost $50.
Yeah.
So I said when we get the title transfer,
regular car plate costs $36. So it might cost a little bit more, but it's not outrageous.
I'm pretty sure they're either the same. I thought it was $50 because you're transferring the title too.
Well, the title's $50.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
And the plate's another 36. I think it's 36.50. I don't know. See, they doubled our.
But I'm pretty sure it's the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same cost.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. You know, we got this high gas tax up here. I mean, ridiculous gas tax. Our gas is back up to $4 a gallon. Thanks, guys. One-eyed cat. That is Dawn English, the one-eyed cat. Yeah. What's up, Dawn? Thanks for popping in, buddy. But yeah, we got. Well, Dawn and Wendy know they're from PA too, so they know how bad it is here. They get us everywhere. They raise our gas tax. They raise all of our registration.
You know how much it is in Morgantown, just by Cooper's Rock, just outside of Morgantown, because they didn't want to pay today. Yeah, $3.14.
Yeah, I know. Look at it, almost $1 cheaper.
$3.14 in Morgantown.
It's time to get barrels and go to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Everything's cheaper down there. Like I said, you know that it's just crazy. Thanks for going.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So when we get the cow transfers from Honda, I said we could get me a vanity plate.
No, well, we got to get the Honda working first. What's your plans on this Honda?
I want to put a vanity plate on it.
Why do you want a vanity plate?
I don't know if it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, Dawn. What you want to just call you, Dawn? Yeah, Dawn's fine. All right. Dawn it is. The Dawn. Teflon Dawn.
We need a good vanity plate idea. Honda UH, like Honda.
Yeah, I know they're going up against him. Well, how about the? Well, PA Township can do that. You know, I mean, yeah, they can do it. I knew the Springfield Township supervisors up there very well, and but from what they gathered on there, the township could pass an ordinance allowing off-road vehicles to be driven on township roads, like to and from your lodging area, to and from a gas station, and like to and from a restaurant and to the trail. I mean, obviously you can't have it. Yeah, it's going. You can't just drive it around like your personal vehicle, obviously, because it's not registered. But I tried to get them guys up at Springfield Township to do that for years, but I was like, why don't you guys just vote it, allow that, you know, and like I said, if you want to keep the riffraff out, you know, for township residents, sell a $25 a year permit. For out of township residents, you know, make it $100. Yeah, she's went for. Oh, I know. We got a tank of gas. Your Lake Motorsports. Hold on, Leighton. I'll get you in there in a second, buddy. We got a tank of gas on the way back from No Name, and we was averaging 250 miles here, bud. We was averaging 250 miles a tank, and we got that one, and it wasn't.
We stopped at a Love's. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
will we get 125 out of that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Then
going
we
to.
stopped at a speedway.
He should be it.
We
There you
stopped-
are. What's up, Mr. Layton Motorsports? How's it going, buddy?
Can't complain, man. Just
Yeah, that's it.
We
Hang
stopped-
in there. Oh,
Probably-
there's Mopar then.
Yeah. I'm Opardon.
what's up,
So what's
Mopar?
new, buddy?
And I'm just taking it easy right now. I got the kids in bed, well, some of them, and figured I'd jump on here.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, man, it's always cool.
See.
Yeah, we had what the heck got us today with that wheel cylinder kicked my ass all day today, but
I was gonna say.
you know how that's always that little thing you don't expect. It's a simple project. 5 minutes turns into all day ordeal.
Yeah, that's how it seems. You get one little piece down, and it costs you. Hey,
You know, I used to tell that when I worked more as a shop for repairing people's cars. I used to tell them that, you know, that simple 5 minute repair is a broken bolt away from a 3 day ordeal. And it just simply is.
yeah, I've seen that a lot when I was a mechanic. It'd be
Yeah.
a quick job, but you'd break a bolt off, and you'd be there all day.
Yeah, I did years ago for my stepdad, his mother, she had like a second gen Cavalier with a 2.0, and she brought in, just needed spark plugs and wires thrown on this thing. I threw a little 3/8 ratchet on that plug, dude. And I've done this long enough. You know, it twisted the plug right off, threads even with the head. I ended up taking the head off of that car to get that out because I couldn't get that spark plug out either way. And so there you go. 10-minute spark plug job on a 4-cylinder Cavalier, ended up 2 days taking it apart and changing it.
I got a 4-cylinder Cavalier.
Yeah. Oh, I love Cavaliers, man. You can't kill those things.
That's
You know
I
what happened to my
Like
sister's
5
car? It's the
Yeah.
all
the
they got
check engine light.
cool in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Z24 that I took in on a trade probably, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. I never even went and got it. It's still at the guy's house that I traded. It's got a blown head gasket. It's beautiful. It's a South Carolina car. I mean, it'd be worth getting, but I get so busy with everything else, I forget about it for months at a time. And then when I realize, I'm like, oh man, I got to go get that one day. I got that one. Then I just got a regular Cavalier parts car that's sitting up there with it. By the time I get it, probably won't be nothing left of it. It'll just be a pile of rust where the Cavalier was sitting.
Yeah,
So you know what happened with it?
I seeing that car out, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a G body guy at heart. I might got
Yeah.
some now, but
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I mean, like I said, I tell people when I tell people what that car, how cobbled together it is and what it does, and that's what makes it more amazing to me. It shouldn't be what it is. I mean, but it's just luck, you know, luck and years of experience to learn things. Because I mean, if I got $4,000 in that car, I'm lucky. I mean, I've tried to do everything as cheap as possible. The most expensive part I bought for it was that Holly that I spent $1,000 for the Holly computer setup. But everything else, I just cheap as I could, nickel and diamond here and there, buy used parts, buy stuff off of eBay. And if you can't buy it, make it.
yeah, that's the way I am. I try to make everything I can. Like my motor mounts for my Aspen I got. It's gonna be probably some solid mounts that I throw together out here in the shop because I've got enough material laying around. I can build it, but I don't know what mounts go in this car. It's I ain't never seen them before.
I've had some fun with some Aspens, man. My dad, when I was like 17, he had this 78 Aspen with a 318 in it. Man, the fun we used to have in that car. When I'd break my Camaro, I'd go get his.
Mine's a 79, but it's getting a 318 put in it. But of course, you've seen Patrick with most of the parts and rust, that blue duster.
Yeah.
I've been talking to him for a few months, and I'm going to copycat his setup pretty much.
Yeah.
And,
hey, that's a good, easy setup.
Yeah, I've got nothing in the motor pretty much. I paid $200 for an RV, pulled the motor and transmission, scrapped the RV. So
there you go.
My most expensive part's going to be the turbo. which is $200 off eBay.
Yeah. What are you gonna run? GT45?
Yeah.
I just say yeah, because I ended up with that. I looked at that, but because it required that different exhaust, because it's got, remember that GT45, that V band on it's an oddball size versus the regular. That's why I didn't want to order it. That's why I ended up with the 7875 I got, because it took a standard 3-inch V band on the outlet.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about going with the Harley Terminator X just for the tuning ability. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive to get Harley, but whatever. It'll
Yeah.
be
What do you want? Do you want overdriving? Is that why you're going to go with that Terminator X? Or?
just the tuning.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I know that. Yeah. Well, what? Oh, you're just going to go with the. You're not going with the transmission controls, are you?
no, I'm just gonna go with it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah. Well, you can't.
for the
You
fuel
can't beat just the regular. It's nice, man, because I mean, you can come on, or you can pretty much Game Boy you a tune, and you're rolling. Just watch your correction. You can almost you can go in and see how much if it's correcting. 25%, between 2,500 and 3,200, you can go in the fuel map and add that manually and fix it. I mean, if you just keep picking away at it like that, you can get your tune to work really good.
Yeah,
And then as you do that, you just slowly turn your closed loop, and then your learn. It has like a parameter how much percentage it can add and subtract. And what you do is you get closer to your tune, you just start bringing that number down. When you got it to where you only got to add or subtract 10%, you're pretty close with your tune. You'll like it. I mean, the Holly, we ran a factory computer in the car for a couple of years. The Holly was the best thing I bought for it, bar none. It made it the most simple, and it's just like to be able to data log, and it includes so many extra things. Like you get that Holly Terminator X, you get a nitrous controller because it can do progressive nitrous, it can do boost. You got your two-step built into it. You got a bump box built into it if you're going to run a trans brake. I mean, just everything's there, and it makes it so nice. And I know you only get 4 ins and 4 outs on there, so instead of wasting outputs for a fan, you could always just get one. It's a regular old school temp sensor for a fan. You just screws into the motor and run it through a relay, and then that saves you an output, an extra for something else. Like if you want to run a CO2 for dome or anything, dome control. It's nice if you run a CO2 based boost controller because you pretty much just tell it what boost you want and it does it. So
yeah, we got a buddy. He's got a Plymouth Scamp with a 400 big block Mopar. He's got the Terminator X and it's turboed. He's learning. I've got a slew of friends. Terminator on Turbo LS, Nitrous LS stuff. So between them, I'm sure I can learn it pretty easy.
yeah, you're pretty. I mean, anybody handy that's smart enough and done this, and you've been around this stuff long enough, it's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
It's a real simple software. The nice thing, man, one of the cool things about that is when you got a true standalone, it's nice because it'll do anything you ask it. That's the nice thing about it. Like if you've ever done any tuning on a stock computer, you got to trick it because a stock computer is designed to meet emissions. That's what its goal is. If it makes power, that's a byproduct. The factory computer is an emissions device that the government makes them run. So once you get away from that, you get into a standalone that it was designed for performance. I mean, you can make your own 3D tables up and make it work how you want it. And it's sweet.
Yeah, I see the advantages with it because you can just pick and choose each little spot to tune at, and racing, you're gonna need every advantage you can get.
Yeah.
Especially there's a lot of what I call outlaw tracks. They're non-sanctioned.
Yeah. I know. I wish we had those around here.
Oh, I love it. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah. Yeah, and those guys, I mean, down south, the grudge racers and that, man, they take that stuff serious.
Oh yeah, it gets pretty wild. I'm about 35, so I used to go a lot, and I've seen 20,000 on the race. Roll up, burn out, do the race, and pack back up 20,000. just like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know they do big money out on that stuff, but it's serious stuff. It's cool though. I mean, that's I don't know. I know a lot of guys they run down on the no prep and that. The reason we really got with the street side and the no prep because it's an equalizer. And that's the thing because you never know. You can line up against a car like when we raced on that 28-10-5. I drew Redbeard Racing for the second round. I knew on a prep track I was screwed. What am I going to do? That car traps 30 miles faster than me, and he's almost 2 seconds faster than me in the eighth. What was I going to do? And I wouldn't wish him to break, but that was really, unless he fell asleep at the tree, what other chance did I have? I mean, I was maybe if we raced a quarter mile, but it's just because of his gearing. I started to run him down towards the end. I was starting to catch on him again, but he still got me by two cars.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
street.
I guess that is, but what's that?
The street and the no prep stuff is definitely an equalizer. It's not about who's the fastest or who's got the most power. It's who can get to that finish line the fastest.
Yeah. It's who's smart enough to manage that power to put it down. Exactly. That's why I like, because then you can show up in it like you would just a turbo 318 car and have a chance. And it's the luck of the draw. You know what I mean? You never know. You flip draw a card, flip a coin, whatever. That can determine your fate long before you ever line up.
And it's not too far fetched to say that it might get a LS in it at one point in time.
Hey, I don't know what the LS price is around here. That's really the reason I do LS stuff around here. I can literally 5 miles from my shop, I can get LS motors. I can get 5.3s all day for $250, and he even gives me the harness and the computer. So for that price,
I think the junkyard. I think for the wiring harness, the engine, and all of it, it's like $500. But if you just buy the motor, it's like $250 or $300. And so you pull it.
Yeah. Well, this guy here, he pulls them everything. I mean, I go up, he'll fire the jump pack, start the truck up, and let me hear it, and say, "Yeah, I'll take that one," and come back, and he'll have it ready, and just load it in your truck and go.
Got a buddy on the road. He deals with Chevy trucks, buys Chevy trucks, parts them out. He told me $600 for a motor and wiring harness and everything. I said, that would save me from pulling it, save me gas. He's 5 miles versus 30 miles, and I got to pull it, spend all day there.
Yeah.
So I'd rather spend that.
Yeah, and then you're buying one from someone too, versus that's the bad thing about pick and pull. You're taking a chance in a way, that thing.
He starts it and drives it, takes videos of it for the purpose of selling.
Yeah, well, that's worth a couple extra dollars right there. Just a peace of mind to know that it's a good motor.
And it helps my buddy out, and I know it runs, and I ain't got to pull it.
Oh, no, that's a good deal, man. Heck yeah, that's the way to go.
But I'll put this 318 together just to be able to drive the car because I'm ready to drive it. It's been sitting for years. I got it at an auction, and I'm ready to drive it. Then while I'm playing with the 318, I'll have something in the background going on.
Yeah. 318 is a good motor, though. It really is. I've had good luck with 318s, and a little bit of, you get a 318 to breathe a little bit, it changes the whole thing. It's
the underdog motor, and that's what I like about it. That's like Patrick. He's got a 318 with turbo, and it's running in the 7s.
Yeah. Oh, I know that car runs good. As I said, 318's a damn good motor. My only, like I said, that from the factory, the heads just didn't flow. That was really the biggest. Most of that, especially the emissions eras, the heads were so choked off. That's what really killed the power on those motors.
I think these were pre-emission because they're in the like 70, 71.
Yeah. No, that have a lot better head on it. And then, you get in there and support it out a little bit, clean up.
Yeah, I'll probably do that a little bit just with a die grinder or something.
Yeah, it won't. Well, the thing is, the nice thing about that, with boost, it doesn't take as much because it's going in. When that valve pops open, it's filling the cylinder. It doesn't care what restrictions on it.
Yeah, that's right. It's forced it in there.
Yeah, it's just filling. Yeah, it's just under pressure at that point. That's going to be a cool ride, man. I mean, Aspen's like said, that's a car that you used to see everywhere. And it's like they all disappeared.
I haven't seen another one except for on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's
What Spat Max says, he says he loves the 318s too. He said he got 3 of them laying there. And old Jack says Dodge's best motor. Yeah, Dodge makes a good motor, the old school ones. We're not going to get into that modern crap that they call Dodge now, but that's a different story. I mean, the Hemi's good, but like their V6s and stuff they made lately ain't really.
junk.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I seen a Cope racing transmissions. When I
Yeah.
walked forward, it had a 392 Hemi in it. I was like, oh wow, this is it right here. It's different.
Yeah, that's a cool truck. That's definitely, yeah, that Cope Racing transmission. That was different because you know to walk up and notice that he had a Gen 3 Hemi, and it's like, wow, all right.
And
Yeah, that truck ran good.
was not a slouch at all.
No, it wasn't. Old Mr. Haney, he calls that truck. That's definitely a runner. And it looks good. It plays the part, even with the wheelchair and the bed. He got the sleeper look down in that one. You'd never expect it. Definitely send you home with your tail between your legs if you didn't bring enough.
Yeah. Well, man, what I liked about that No Name Nationals though is, man, I didn't argue with no one. I didn't worry about if we was all about to get in a big fight like we do on the street sometimes. Didn't have to worry
Yeah.
about stuff getting stolen or whatever, because you know you get down to the grudge racing and the no prep stuff. Tempers flare a lot.
Yeah, tempers flare, and then sometimes it does attract a bad crowd too. When there's betting going on, that's usually attracts a bad crowd that just ain't really there. They're just there to start trouble.
I tried not to bet at No Name, but I did.
Oh, a little bit. No, you know what I mean, though. When you get guys that are just literally, they're coming there to put, $10,000, 20,000 on a race. Some guys are there. Most working guys, put it this way, most guys that work for a living really can't afford to throw that kind of money around. So, but when you got guys that that don't, that are still throwing that money around, they're hustling it somewhere, and that's usually the poor crowd. But No Name was nice though, because it was family oriented. Like you said, you could
Yeah.
leave your trailer open, leave your truck windows down.
I left my welders out for 2 nights.
Yeah.
All day and all night. And all
Yeah.
day.
Like I said, we have we have an IHRA track here, and it's like that. I mean, because it's just quarter-mile track, but I mean, yeah, you could probably leave a briefcase of money sitting on the tailgate of your truck, and if anybody really bothered it, they'd probably, if they thought someone else was going to take it, they might pick it up and hold on to it until they see you and be like, "Here, man, someone was looking at your money." So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to be in places like that.
We lost our local sanction track, which was Memphis. They sold it. So there went our quarter-mile track and our drift events and road course. So it's Jeffers is the closest sanction track that I think we have. I don't remember how far Holly Springs, Mississippi is, but and then the no prep's definitely equal. But
What's up, Dwayne?
I liked all the, everyone brought what they had to build with, and there wasn't no stacker trailers with $100,000 cars. It was your everyday.
No, I mean, we had like the Nelsons. I mean, they got a pretty nice outfit, but they're everyday people. They're not where it's all going to their head. You know what I mean? Like Calvin and his dad are really good.
Some nice rides that were really fast there.
Yeah. It was more like I told John, it's like it's more like going to become our yearly pilgrimage we're going to go to No Name just to hang out. You know what I mean? Because that was the thing. Yeah, it's like, there was a family reunion, you know what I mean? And a drag race broke out, you know?
Yeah.
Because we were all there to be friends and hang out, meet each other. It's really neat when you talk to people like this, 8, 9 months, we interacted with everybody through a screen and through video. And then just to be able to walk up and meet that person in person, you felt like you've known them for years,
Oh yeah,
but
that's
yet
way,
it's the first time you're meeting them.
yeah. I wish we could have seen the Nivlac crew really put
Yeah,
power, man. It was. I hated that they burned up 2 transmissions. It was that little red car they got. It is insane for a four
yeah,
cylinder.
yeah.
When I
That Dodge, well, that's six in that, but that thing is pretty wild.
when I come across their channel and seen that it was a 4200, I was like,
Yeah,
all right, you got my interest here, really, because what will these Trailblazer motors do?
yeah,
And
I know.
the power
There
on it,
go.
you
Yeah,
can't.
they got that figured out. I ran into them. It's been probably about maybe 4 years when they first put that Street Six, the 14200 they put in the Studebaker, and Matt Happel, Sloppy Mechanics, had it on his dyno. And I think this is even before Calvin started the channel, and that's when the channel started growing. But yeah, it's definitely a wild setup. That would be cool. Like my fiance, her stepdad has a 52 or 53 Chevy. And that's before Chevy had a V8. And I always joke with him, I'm like, dude, that's what you need to put a straight six like that in there. I said, then it's still a six-cylinder. It would just be stupid fast. I don't know if I'd want to go that fast in the 52.
Yeah, I don't know about that. No,
Oh,
that
isn't there? There's one guy that runs. What was he on? Wasn't he on Drag Week? It was like a 52 or 53 Chevy. He has a turbo LS motor in it. They get runs like low nines or high eights.
yeah, drag week. You better have something quick for them.
Yeah, for the class. It depends on your class you're in. What's up, JB? Thanks for stopping in, buddy. We appreciate it. And Pat Max, he says he got an 80 360 intercept, 80s 360 interceptor. He's going to put in an 83 Ram Charger. I like Ram Chargers. I like the convertible ones a little bit better, but all Ram Chargers are cool. Even the ones they got in Canada, where they got, or not Canada, but Mexico, they got like it looked kind of like a Durango, but it was full size because the Ram Charger, they kept making it down there.
Yeah.
So they got like with the second gen Dodges around here, they got a Ram Charger in Mexico based off of that chassis.
Yeah, I've seen some of them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder why they done that in other countries. That stuff it would have done really good around here, just like the Toyota Hilux with that little turbo diesel, and it does so good around the rest of the world. But we never got them here in the United States, really.
Yeah, I'm sure it had something to do with emissions or some crazy mess.
Yeah, probably that
Or something.
that or more than likely though, it was probably like the chicken tax. It was probably something that General Motors and Ford and Chrysler was involved in to keep Toyota from actually bringing that here.
You
You remember a lot of that went on there with the import stuff with a lot of the little mini trucks and that. Remember they used to ship them with no beds and stuff because Detroit was lobbying, trying to get different rules and tariffs on the import trucks to keep them from bringing them in. Well, hey, I'm sorry, man. If the Toyotas and the Nissans, and I'm a Chevy guy and through and through, but an S10 truck compared to a Nissan or a Toyota, that's not even like comparing trucks.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
I had a '90s, either a '90 or '91 Hilux that was on air ride with 20s on it. It slammed on the ground. Had the air ride back in my mini days.
Yeah, mini trucks are cool. Around here, they jack them up. So I don't know how many straight axle swaps on like down to 89, 91, 92, that up to before they went to the Tacoma. All them around here, we would always go and put the 85 and down axles under them. For rock crawling, it works better than the IFS because they tend, especially with a front locker, all you do is break them. When you use the CV joints in the front, you're constantly breaking them in the rocks. So
Yeah, the spot we used to go ride 4-wheelers and boom buggies and drive trucks that they ended up closing it down because it wasn't really a place that was open, but it was a piece of land. The owner really didn't care at the time if we was out there, so it had been around for years, and a few people got hurt, and they finally had to barricade where you couldn't get in there.
Yeah, we got a spot like that around here, and it's got a real nice swimming hole in it. There's a waterfall into a creek that you can jump off of. It's probably about 15, 18 feet high to jump into a nice deep pool of water. And all the property that surrounds that is there's like someone owns a couple acres here, somebody owns a couple acres there, so no one can ever get organized together. Like a couple people want to close it, but because other people don't, and it stayed open for years. And about every other year, someone will get out there that's not from around here. They'll come up from Pittsburgh and they'll end up drowning there, and then we'll hear for a couple of months how they're closing it. Then the heat will die off and it'll go back to normal. But that's when I was talking about the side by sides earlier. Around here, they're like locusts, man. When they find out there's a trail, these people that haven't lived the off road life and never done off road, and now, like I said, they think that they're ready for Baja or something just because they got credit to buy a side by side, and they just show up in groups. They'll show up to our trails, they'll rip and tear and carry on and act like idiots. Then when that place gets gated up, they don't care. They just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
We're like the locals here, like that place I'm talking about with the waterfall, it's literally like 5 miles from my shop, all dirt roads. I could even, my dedicated off-road buggy that isn't street legal, I could sneak down dirt roads and back roads and get to there from the shop if I don't feel like hauling on a trailer down to it. But it'll be a matter of time. They'll have it screwed up down there too, because like I said, they get down there and get drunk, and then people burn cars and dump garbage.
Yeah. Trash is a big thing in places.
Yeah, we would.
71 Volkswagen Bug that was set up for off-road. The cut the front axle, swap the front axle out, turn the bars up, raise it up, had some 28-inch mud grips on the back, just some old narrow street tires on the front, and
heck yeah, there we go.
it had a motor from Brazil. It was a 1600cc dual port, and it would move. But the only problem with that thing is when you're driving down the highway, you'd have a full turn of rotation of the steering wheel before you'd actually turn. So if you want to turn left, you had a full rotation to the left before it hit.
That sounds like something I'd drive on the road.
So I drove it on the road. It's my daily driver.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Baja bugs, but around here there's nothing left, man. The road salt's destroyed everything like that around here.
But man,
I've always wanted. I would
fun.
like to find a nice Baja bug around here, and I'd swap like a 2.5 Subaru motor, just leave it naturally aspirated, but just put a 2.5 Subi motor in it just for a daily driver.
I had a buddy in high school. He built one, had full tube chassis, which he was a dirt track guy, so he had the pipe and benders and all the tools to build it. He put a 2.3 Ford motor on his.
Yeah.
But my stock motor, and man, it'd go anywhere. I'd float down the creek with it and everything.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Front end would be bobbing up and down in the water, and
just don't let out of it. Don't lift. Yeah, they're fun, man. They're gone around here. You see a Beetle, maybe a Beetle sighting when it's every couple months, and that's probably one of the most mass-produced cars of all time. Yeah. There's just none left.
I know where one is. It's sitting there. The windows are gone out of it, I think. It's probably been, I know of 10 years it's been sitting there, but it sits out beside a barn just next to the highway. They mow the grass around it and just let it sit.
Yeah, I know where there's one out here. It's up at a farm up in the mountain, and it sat there for so long. There's a tree growed up through the back because the engine's out of it, and it's sitting there. It has the fiberglass fenders on it and on the Baja kit, but there's no floor. You look in the window and you see grass, but there's nothing left of it because it was ran in the road salt and then parked, and then it just rotted to nothing.
That's why a lot of them are when you start getting up there in the salt zone. My mom and my dad's family originally from West Virginia, so I want to go up there and visit them. It's see a lot of rust up there.
Yeah, is that crazy? You ride around, you see a car that's 3-4 years old, and the rocker panels are completely gone.
But
and they charge us high taxes to dump that on our roads. It destroys our cars. That's even better.
Yeah, then you got to pass inspection.
Yeah.
My dad said, because they're living up there now taking care of his mom. and they said if you got rust holes, you got to patch them up. I was
Yeah.
like, how are they gonna make you patch a rust hole in a salt, icy, snowy state? That's gonna
Yeah,
be
well, their reasoning behind it, the reason they want the holes patched up, and I do understand that they don't want sharp edges that way. Like if someone's walking through a parking lot and brushes up against it, they don't cut them. That's really, I know in Pennsylvania, that's the reason for the holes being patched in there. You can't have sharp edges on the vehicle. So,
I guess. I bet
yeah,
there's a lot of
just,
spray foam and Bondo jobs up there.
hey, spray foam works good. It kept my truck on the road for a couple of years.
I
Well,
know
it was
guys.
spray foam. Just don't forget and weld on it.
I know some body guys down here that will hurry up and spray foam a hole and put Bondo on it.
Hey, when you gotta get a sticker on it, man.
We don't even have stickers down here.
Yeah,
If it's got
man.
headlights, turn signals, and a wiper and a mirror, you're good.
Man, you guys keep convincing me more and more, man, about moving down that way.
Only complaint about Arkansas is the mosquitoes.
Yeah, well, we got mosquitoes bad here, so it's not like the ways that they need to watch where they're walking. Yeah, but we have a law here. Now you can have a car with a trailer hitch on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have a receiver hitch, you're not allowed to leave the tow ball in the receiver unless you're towing. And all I can guess is somewhere one of the lawmakers must have ran into a hitch ball in a parking lot somewhere and made it illegal. But yeah, if you have a removable hitch, you're not allowed to have it in unless you're towing something.
They do hurt. I've got my fair share of them.
Yeah, I've crippled myself quite a few times running around there, bang, and you're on the ground rolling in pain. Ah. Oh no, we dropped him. Yeah, it's crazy.
My wife's
There he
called.
is. He's back.
My wife's calling me, so I'm gonna get off here, answer her.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for popping in, man. We do this every Sunday and Tuesday. We appreciate having you. You're welcome anytime. It's been great having you.
Well, I'll jump on the next one then. I'm usually
Absolutely.
so.
Absolutely, man. It's good. Yeah, we'll set something up, honestly, because it's good to have someone to interact to anyway, because Tommy sometimes, like I said, he slacks and rolls off. So it's good to have someone to talk to. So, all right, man. Good luck. Everybody out there, if you're not subscribed to Leighton Motorsports, check him out. He's doing some cool things. And this 318 Aspen is going to be an awesome ride. So we'll catch you later then, man. Good night.
Appreciate it, man. We'll catch you later.
Yep. It says it insurance damage. Makes sense. I mean, I just figured that someone ran into one, or someone's wife ran into one with her shin, and which still could be the real reason. I mean, you can't really discount that. That could be the real reason. But yeah, that's cool. We want to thank for having Leighton Motorsports on tonight. Like I said, I'm wondering about Dakota. He's MIA. We're gonna have to go track him down. We're gonna have to ground him. We're gonna have to time him out now. That's it. We've given him a free pass on this channel, and now we're gonna have to time him out. But it's all good. No, we love Dakota. We wish Dakota would have made it on here tonight, because I can't wait till he gets that Trans Am done. He needs to bring it to No Name with us. Yeah, well, I understand the bumper idea. Yeah, this state just has the corniest, stupidest laws that anybody else. Huh? Well, I tell you, every time these guys are talking about Tennessee, man, it just sounds nicer and nicer, doesn't it? You see what it's going to be Tuesday? Weather here? When it's supposed to be cold and snowy? 40 degrees, rain mixed with snow or whatever at night? Yeah, Tennessee's sounding good. Yes, it really does. Oh! It slipped off. I see it. I tried to get you. You had it right there, and you just slipped. You can't give up. Usually here, huh? What's that? Corn? Green
Yeah.
corn? Dude, you want some? Wait, I'll get you one. Did you eat
If you're
that?
gonna eat it,
Did you eat
No,
any
that
yet?
was-
That was your first plate?
yeah.
Get one.
If you're gonna eat it or no? Morning. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy, no, Tommy didn't trip.
Yeah.
You're building a house in Tennessee now. I hear you. Yeah, I have one, Pat. As a matter of fact, I have the daughter's Pathfinder. Her hitch in that thing is so stuck in there that probably, I don't even know when, that was probably how long ago when you tried to rip
Oh, I see.
that hitch. It was probably over 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. It was stuck in there. My mom, when she used to daily drive that Pathfinder before she gave it to Hillary for her woods buggy, and my mom had it here in the yard, and she had a chain wrapped around a big tree, and she was just yanking on it, and she would put slack in that chain and yank it, put slack in the chain and yank it. She was yanking so hard that I had to tell her to stop on it because I thought she was going to rip the back frame rails or tear the hitch out of the frame rails the way she was pulling on it. And that thing never moved. To this day, it's still stuck in there. To haul them everywhere. I mean, that's just what we done anymore. Yeah, you had one that was stuck too. Remember that one in my mom's Pathfinder, Dwayne? It's still there, and it's been there as long as she's had it. That's cool, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. Lake Motorsports back. Oh, what did I do? Turn the camera off. What a dummy. You know me, guys. This phone stuff is this complicated. What's that one? Remember on yeah, amazing how rusted they get. That one in the XL7. I'm afraid to push it in because I'm afraid of it getting stuck in there and never being able to get it out. That's my problem with it. I'm like, man, I'll never get that thing out if I push it in there. I just got it shoved in a little bit. We drive around like that. No, yeah, the blazer you got off of Kayla's mom. Yeah, I know it. I've tried that Pathfinder. I've had that whole square tube cherry red around and still and beat on it with a sledgehammer. It will not move. Like I said, the only way you got take that hitch off of there is you're just gonna have to take and cut the whole reese hitch off the back of the truck because that ball mount is permanently there. I don't think it's ever coming up without destroying the hitch. Now, yeah, you could probably slice the tube that it's in, slice it long ways on each side with an angle grinder, and then bend it side to side and force it to come out that way. But you're not just going to remove it. It just ain't going to happen. It's crazy. But it's all good fun, man. We need more off-road trails around here, but man, I just need to get out of this cold. I mean, literally, they're talking about snow this week here. I don't think we're going to get accumulation, but snow this early in October. Yeah, that's not looking good. I remember when I was young, we did get snow this early in October. You know, watching test videos and undercoating, they have a lot of good stuff out. Yeah, they do have a lot of good stuff. Problem with the undercoating I've ran into, it's not so much everything you can coat's fine, but like what killed all the trackers and Suzuki sidekicks is where the one body mount is there in front of the rear wheel. It's like 3 layers, and there's no way to get into the back side of it, and they didn't paint it. Yeah, just change the ball. Yeah, the way they put it in there, you can't get to the back side of that to put any kind of treatment on it without cutting a hole through the sheet metal. So I don't know how else you would get that. Dwayne's on there. I don't know if he wants to say something real quick because I gotta. There you go, Pete.
Hey.
I got Dwayne on here. I got Hill Jacks on here.
Hello, everybody.
Late Motorsports.
How y'all doing tonight? What's up, Schultz? What have you been up to? Did you have a good time at camp? It was cold. Yeah, wait till Tuesday. It's really gonna be cold. Come on, get in there. Hello, guys. Talk to him. We have to take over for a moment. The cameraman or whatever it is, he had to go to the
Hi,
bathroom.
Schultz. Hill Jack.
Jack, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
But I just shut everybody.
Now I'm gonna go feed my cat.
She's gonna go feed her fat ass. Whoops. Her fat moms. Yeah. So, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, this is what. Look at that. Look at that, Schultz.
Chicken and mashed potatoes and stuffing.
And who's your name?
What's your name? My name is Grandma Joyce.
This is Grandma.
Amanda. Who is that?
Hi, Kayla.
Hi, Jack. I'm Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Jack asked who he was.
Schultz said, hey.
I'm Susie.
No, you're not. You're
Sure,
Amanda.
you can bring this up. You're
We're
gonna bend
fine.
over.
We're
I'm sorry,
fine.
you know.
You just want to know who's who. We're here.
Yeah, we're back.
Man.
Extreme close up. Yeah, because you guys got close.
Ooh, we didn't know. First
Hell, Jack.
time. We didn't know we had to be that far. What was it far away?
Oh well.
I got me laughing, choking here. But no, I mean, guys, it's
Yeah.
remember we're still looking for 6BT, Dwayne. Remember, still looking for that Cummins motor.
Yes.
I know where they're a bunch at, but you know he's not going to get rid of them. I know a guy that has a whole school bus full of them.
Pretty big gonna give us enough money to buy another.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Rex.
I know that it is.
Rex has a whole school bus full of 5.9 Cummins.
I bet you he won't.
No, he bought them because he uses them in his pulling truck. He just buys them, and anytime they're for sale, he buys them. That's why he can't find none around here, because when they go for sale, he buys them. But
Now let's try this without freaking dropping it.
yeah. That sucks too. You're hungry and get your food all ready to go and get ready to sit down when it falls on the floor. At least there was more. Yeah. It's really heartbreaking when you do that and there's none left. Changing the manifolds in 08 F350. Every bolt is rusted off, even the valve covers. That sounds like ours on one that's 2 or 3 years old. We have the issue, the 5.4s. The 5.4s do it the worst, but the V10s do it too, is the bolts on the exhaust manifolds will rust completely off, literally in a couple years. The last 5.4 that I did exhaust manifolds on.
Good, you can sit back down.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was going to get my
You can sit
drink.
back down. You're good now.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Dwayne. He said he found a truck camper, maybe. He said he can send us a link after.
Lancaster? Can I get a Lancaster?
Lancaster, yeah. When we go to Lancaster, I need to go out that way anyway. I need to get
No, I want to go because of.
I want to get Matt Hampel to dine on my car, so I want to go to Lancaster too. Yeah, but I'm saying you can go. I know you want to go out there because the Amish are out there. You can see the Amish people, and I can get on my car.
That's the only reason why I want to go.
I know. I'm gonna go out there. I want to pull up at a red light, and when I see either Jacob or what's usually their names, they have whole names. I mean, I'm not making fun of them anyway because they're actually cool people. But when they're sitting there, and I'm gonna pull up beside them, and it's like, hey man, how many horsepower is that buggy? And he's probably gonna laugh and tell me too if he's got
You don't have
two
to do that
horses.
with the Amish people.
Huh? What is it?
You're not doing it with the Amish people.
I'll do it with them anyway. Sometimes
No,
I said
you're
I'm not
not.
gonna pick on them.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't even like looking at your manifolds, Dwayne. Yeah, yours are rusty. And the power strokes aren't real good either. Yeah, if it's either or one, what are you going to post it? Because he swore.
Who?
Yeah, but Pat Max. He swore, you got to prove it. Yeah.
He cussed out.
And he got nothing but bumps where the bolts used to be. Oh, man, that sounds like a PA truck. Yeah, that truck's probably seen some salt. I mean, like I said, I know that the 5.4s are bad,
Ooh,
but
Tom Brady got his book.
when
Yeah.
I did that 5.4
Whoop,
for
whoop.
George, my friend George, he had that 5.4 Ford. It was like an
I
04,
bet you he wasn't
05.
crying.
5.4, and the truck wasn't even a high
Mhm.
mile. Oh, you're good, man. No problem. You didn't do nothing wrong. It's the algorithm, man. It ain't you. We had that on there just for people with retarded stuff, not.
Yeah, that's
It
fine.
just, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you ain't got to apologize. You didn't say
You're
nothing wrong.
fine, dude.
It's just sometimes it gets a little overly sensitive and blocks. But to get back to that truck, it was so bad I had to take the oxygen acetylene torches. I had to cut the manifold off. Literally, I burned the manifold in half and then burned out around the flange to get it out. And then I had to get the bolts out because the exhaust manifold was literally, there was nothing left of it. I had to cut them off with a torch. And then I ended up welding nuts on all the exhaust guards and back. Dakota! Oh, you was at your grandma's house? That's cool. That's cool, man. No, we're just glad you're all right. That's all. You disappeared. Usually you're around. It's all good, man.
Yeah, Tuesday night we have to stay down.
Where I was saying, Dakota, on that, the way you can work that shaker is if you can get a stock like GM 4-barrel air cleaner base, put that on there, and then you can put your chrome base on top because that's kind of how the factory shaker would clamp it. It was basically, yeah, cut one side of 3 pieces. But basically, that's how it is on the factory shaker scoop. There's that the bottom half of that factory air cleaner would go in, then then the element would go in, and then the top lid was a little bit smaller. That way, it exposed the element all the way around. Like the filter wasn't quite as big as the bottom housing. Say that opening in the top housing was like 16 inches in diameter, and it would have like a 14-inch filter in there. Then it would have a 14-inch lid, and then that shaker scoop had like a clamp, and there was a lip on that factory box that set down on there and with like a hose clamp style bolt would tighten down. I remember because that's how the 79 we had. That's how it clamped on it.
Wendy English.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. Yeah, but Dakota, yeah, that's there. I mean, that would be the easiest way I could see to make it work.
You said Wendy's on there?
Yeah,
Was Dave with her?
Dawn.
Who's talking
Oh,
about?
no. She's talking about from the restaurant. Anybody seen the Superbird kid on their Challenger? No. What? Is the gas Challenger or is it that electron powered? Because if it's the electric one, you'll have to hit Tommy up for the electrical stuff because I grew out of battery powered remote control cars and stuff years ago. They
You
might.
still play with them. Because you just got one for your birthday, and you love playing with that.
What?
That remote control car that I got you for your birthday.
I use gas powered remote control cars now. Where did I see that? I never seen it.
I never seen it. Where is it?
It's a remote control. You was just out here yesterday with it.
Oh, you got the factory air cleaner, okay. But the intake is quarter in each quarter, yeah. Well, I guess, okay. Well, what we need to do is we need to get, you know how they have that drop down base for like an aftermarket air cleaner that drops it down. We need for the Dodge Challengers. Oh, they make a kit for it. I have to check it out. But what we need to do then, Dakota, is maybe get a drop down air cleaner base, the one that drops down around the carburetor,
All right, we will.
and then cut it out.
He's dry out for that video. He's done.
Oh, 85 Camaro. All right, I'll have to comb my mullet and get ready for that. That's cool though, man. But no, I think if anything, yeah, we could modify a factory air filter. Then we just have to cut the center out and get like a drop base and weld into the bottom of that to drop the whole air cleaner down your 1.5 inch you need for the hood clearance. Dang it, boy, I wish he was closer because I'm sure we could fab that up. I just cut the bottom out of that thing. Yay, that's cool, man. Even better if it's got the hot pink. Remember the triple blade wipers? You get the wipers that have the 3 blades on them, the plastic ones you buy at the store. Yeah, well, I know. I have no doubt you can come up with something, but I mean, is there? That's we could cut a factory box down and just put a drop down on it. We could get what is it? That's 5 and what is that air cleaner flange on that? 5 and 3/8, 5 and 5/8 or something. Whatever the Rochester Quadrajet 4 barrel is, we just need to find something round that size and we could trim it out and make it work. I think we could do it. Hey man, I never had a mullet. My hair was long all the way around when my hair was long, but that was way back. Way back. Since I got my hair, I shaved my head for like the first time back in like Y2K. And ever since after that, I can't stand having my hair long. As soon as it gets more than a couple inches long, I'll cut it off. Oh, they want to see that? They're starting to laugh.
Oh yeah, wait till you see this picture, guys.
You get this to show. This is like one of the older pictures. This is me and my Ram Charger back in 1996. That's my 78 Ram Charger I had. I think it's on 33 is right there and has like a 4-inch lift on it. But that's like 1996. That's when my hair was long. Break out the pic. Oh no, it's on the internet forever now. Yep. Yeah, that's the Ram Charger
get
looked
longer
good
in
though. Dakota says right on. See, I fit driving around in the Camaro back then. Actually, back then, the car I had, I don't know how many people on this line would know it. I had a Ford Escort EXP, which was the 2-door, like, sport version of an Escort, a 2-seater. Used to rip that thing around, man. That was my daily driver. It was a good little car. There's another car. They're gone, man. What happened to all the Ford Escorts, all the first gens? The first generation Escort GT used to be a fun little 4-cylinder car. And a little 1.9 high output in it with a manual
I have to
trans.
show my car.
And it was like a cheap knockoff. I don't know, kind of the Escort. The Escort GT was kind of like it shared a lot of stuff look wise with the better days. I don't know, they were days. I don't know if they were better or not. It's pretty good now.
Listen, I have to show them my car now. Okay.
Yeah, I can't say those days were better because back then we thought we was fast because we had like 200 horsepower, man. So no, they weren't better. Now it's better because now we actually have fast cars. And we know how to do things now. That's a good. Their man is on her broom riding around.
That's our
Here's
Car
my new car, guys.
transportation.
It's a 2022. I don't know. You can make up. But this is my
Yeah.
new car.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I had an 83 EXP. I had the carburetor 1.6 in it with a 5-speed, man. That's probably one of the longer cars
That's
when
my
I
new
was
car.
young. I had that car for
I just
years.
got it.
Probably about 5 years. It was my daily driver. I used to love that thing. The older one's still running around with stripes. Cool. Yeah, I took Dwayne for riding that EXP one time. And I took him out. Yeah, I took him out there. It's when I told him I told him that I got new tires and the car would handle good. So we went flying out towards Sandy Hollow Road, and at the last minute, he thought I was going to go around the bend towards Licensing, which is like a 90-degree turn. So we're doing like realistically probably about 80 in this Escort because it's like downhill, and the car ran good. And we're coming up on like this 90-degree turn, but there's a little road that shoots off straight, the turn. And I had Dwayne convinced that we was going to try to make that 90-degree left-hand turn at like 80. And he's like, no, he thought I was going to kill him. But then I went straight, slowed down. It was pretty funny. It was mean, but no, he didn't answer that one yet. That was mean. Sorry, Dwayne. But I was better to him than everybody else because I always let Dwayne ride in the cab. Everybody else had to ride in the bed. So he should feel special that I always let him ride in the cab. Never. I remember one time we pulled into the ball court down there in Dawson, in the basketball court down there.
Schultz is very special.
I pulled in that GMC, and we was going to the county fair. And it was gonna rain. Yeah, typical county fair, gonna rain. And Dwayne, he was in the cab, and we told everybody, like, yeah, you guys can ride to the fair with us, but you guys gotta ride in the back because you can't. 3 dudes cannot ride in the front seat of a regular cab pickup truck.
They can.
No, unless it's actually you're going to work. If you're in a work truck, like 3 dudes are going to the job site to work, that's fine. But if you're just out cruising around, 3 dudes can't ride in front of a pickup. That's just that because that don't work. Okay, so we had the rule that we had that rule that only 2 dudes, me and one other dude was over there. Always had to be space between in the front seat.
Well, how about 2 dudes and a female in the middle?
Well, that was fine, but you can't have 2 dudes sitting there.
That still wouldn't look good either.
It looked better than 3 dudes riding the truck.
Yeah.
So when I picked anybody up, they had to ride in the bed. So we made them ride in the back, and it was pouring down rain. Me and Dwayne, we're looking through the mirror like, look at these. They're in the back. They don't care. I mean, them kids like Bob Dill,
They needed a ride.
all them kids would ride. It didn't matter how hard what it was doing. They would ride the back of that truck. And that truck had that. It was a girl ski. He said. Schultz said it, but Pat Mack said it first.
Yeah.
He said the girl ski.
I think no ski. Only if he skis.
Yeah, she definitely ski. Them guys, I feel bad. Wonder they showed up with legs and stuff because remember I had boards missing because that was a 6-foot step side bed. And the body of the truck was nice, but the boards were broken in the bed floor. So there was like a foot missing here out of the bed and there. So not only did they have to ride back there, but they had to dodge the holes in the bed and not put their foot through. Because if you put your foot through the drive shaft, it'd take your leg off. They still rode back there. I remember this one time we were riding. We'll go back for the couple this far. I had this 1981 GMC pickup truck. It was a Sierra Grande. It was a 2-wheel drive, short bed. He used to ride around the back of a wrecker, and he's a kid, loved it. Yeah. But it was a short bed, step side bed, 2-wheel drive, half-ton pickup. Originally, it had a straight 6 in it, and it had an NV 435 transmission in it. Yeah, they'd ride all the way to camp and stuff with the fumes and stuff. Well, I know they did. They were messed up long before the fumes. But we had that truck. It had a small block. The 6-cylinder was going to have a small block swapped in it. It's 352 barrel. It was like an older though. It was like a 73, 74, 350. So it was probably a 225, 250 horsepower motor. Probably 225 because it was a 2-barrel. But it wasn't super powerful. But the truck had like a 373 gear in the back. So, it was a powerhouse for that. You could let that thing crawl out in first gear and you're moving along like 2 or 3, just roll. And then you could just push clutch in, pull back in second, and just sidestep the clutch, man, and just send it sideways and be ready to try to throw that big shifter up into 3rd gear. The truck would run. It was fast telephone pole to telephone pole. Didn't have a high top speed. The gearing was pretty quick. But man, we ripped that truck everywhere.
Eagles to get it done.
We was riding around one time, and I had Dwayne and I had our friend Dennis Kaufman with us. They call him Spick. That's his nickname. He's not Mexican. He's actually an Italian dude, but You know, it was the late 90s, early 2000s, so it was okay to call somebody spick without hurting their feelings. But he's riding with us. He's in the bed of the truck. We're riding through Vanderbilt, which is a little town down the road from where we're at now. And Dwayne sees somebody on the side of the road that I think it's Dwayne or Dennis, one of them, but there was one girl that lived there. They wanted to talk to her, so they're like, "Hey, pull over." So I pulled over there in the grass, and they're sitting there talking to them. And then when we left, you know, I might have let the clutch out a little bit too much. We might have spun a little bit of grass and hit the hard top, you know, and smoked the tires a little bit. But when I did, when we hit the pavement and the truck finally hooked, it jerked, it drops the muffler. Muffler falls off on the end of the road. Now, the truck's been idling. We was sitting there, left it run while they was talking. So the truck's probably been running for the last 40 minutes without being shut off. Muffler hits the road, truck gets off. Bah! We go up around the block. So we circle around the block to get the muffler to pick it back up. Because I'm like, look, guys, now these guys here are like 5 years younger than me. And I used to come pick them up and let them hang out with me after work and stuff. And they were good friends regardless. So I roll around the block to get my muffler. And meantime, that girl's dad come out at some point that they were talking to that girl, or her dad must have come out. So we stop at the stop sign behind the house from where we pulled out. He's throwing beer cans a hold of it. Yeah, everything fell. That bed was self-cleaning, but I stop at the stop sign and we said Dennis, he jumps out of the truck and he runs about a block away down around the corner to grab the muffler. He's going for a couple minutes and we hear a little bit of commotion and yelling and stuff. Next thing we know, here comes Dennis running back up the road and he's carrying our muffler, but it's got holes in it. And we're like, Spick, what's going on? What? And he's like, dude, the guy chopped your muffler up with an axe. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I walked around the corner and he's swinging the axe and chopping holes in it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so the dude chopped her muffler up. Well, Dennis, you know, Dennis run up and he asked Dennis, he's like, who are you? And Dennis is like, that's for me to know and you to F off. So at this point, dude's still swinging his axe at the muffler. Somehow Dennis just snatched the muffler back though, and luckily he didn't get chopped up by the axe man. He grabs this muffler, which has probably got to be 200 degrees at this point because it just fell off of the truck that's been running for 40 minutes. So he's ouch, and burning it, trying to grab it with his shirt, and it's got holes caught in it. His eyes are as big as saucers as he's running back to the truck carrying this muffler with holes all through it. And he jumps back, tosses it in the bed, and we leave to get out of there because he's like, there's a dude with an axe. He chopped your muffler up. We're like, what? You know, and you're looking, you see the axe wounds all through the muffler. So we split out of there and we go back and we're listening to him. And he's telling us the story. And I'm like, dude, it's a wonder you didn't get like hit with it. But any long story short, that ended our day. So we went back to Dwayne's and I was like upset. I was like, dude, it's like, we can't even go ride around now because if we go to town, we don't have no muffler. The cops are going to pull us over and they're going to give us a hard time. So we took up a collection and everybody give a couple bucks and we went and bought a glass pack on it. Yeah, probably. Yeah, we ain't gonna get started on that one, Dwayne. I remember the one time that up there at Fuller's when you come running down through the yard. Come running down off of the hill, getting dressed. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. He just dropped our muffler up and we had to go buy a muffler. Man, there were so many stupid things. I don't even know how we made it. No one killed us back then. This one time, me and Dwayne, we was over and we did donuts in an empty parking lot across the street from this little housing, it's a little patch town here in Pennsylvania, little old coal mine patch house. But we did donuts across the street from it in this closed business parking lot. We went up to visit our other buddy. We're pulling up in front of his house and all these people start running at us. And Dwayne's like, I don't think they want to come up to talk. He's like, we should probably leave. And as we leave, we're driving out through the parking lot and I don't know, it looks like snow or something. Hailstones or snow. in the headlights ahead of the truck as we're driving off, and that was all them guys was throwing rocks at us as we was leaving. I don't know why they get so upset. We didn't really do nothing. Why would they get mad? All we done was just a donut or two. We was in a parking lot. It wasn't like we was. Yeah, it wasn't like we was in our yard. Or them guys just with spicking them down there in the golf course, and they got that 2-wheel drive Ford stuck that time when they buried it with sand trap. Or the Toyota Tercel. Remember that Toyota Tercel Dwayne had moment of night that he had the deer hanging out the door?
Oh yeah.
Because the door wouldn't close. The deer was too big, the door wouldn't shut. They had a deer in the back seat. Huh? That one was dead. Yeah, it was hanging out the door.
Oh.
That was the one in the Taurus that time when I opened the trunk and it set up, and that's when Dwayne had the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was in the Taurus. Oh man, we need to get Dwayne on here to tell these stories with us one night, man. Yeah, he got to come on here and tell the stories that we lived through it somehow, that nobody killed us, but. But man, so yeah, other than that, we had a good time.
I hate Philadelphia.
Now, Philadelphia is your other Pennsylvania team, and I hate
I'm
bad
going
bit.
for them because
I'm
the
going
Cavs
to
have
dog
that
your father.
Yeah. I gotta find a new team.
They're
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Are they? I can't be Cincinnati fan. I'm sorry. I just like when I told us, Junior said today at the Easter thing, I said I have no interest in football this year. I don't want to waste time on it. I'm just gonna work on the vehicle. Don't follow this bullshit. No, they're whispering. Yeah, he ain't gonna get on here tonight. Maybe Tuesday night we'll get Dwayne on here. We'll get him StreamYard in. I think we're good, Dwayne. I think the statute of limitations ran out on most of that. We should be good. But we'll do that. I mean, maybe I'll have to show you how to set that up where you can stream. Did you see how I had Leighton Motorsports on here earlier? Or what?
Yeah, but oh well, because you now strip me about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Duke, can you mind not kicking my tripod, puppy?
Hey, dude, you want to be on TV?
Dog's kicking my tripod across the floor, but now I'll have to get Dwayne set up and get him on StreamYard here. Maybe Tuesday night, Dwayne, do that a little bit. You can do it with your phone from your house.
Oh, buddy, you can be on camera. Smile, dude.
Oh, that's such a pretty pink collar you got there, boy. Hi, Duke.
Yeah, I have to. My
Hi,
grandma
Duke.
didn't get me doing that.
Hi, Duke.
And my sister likes
If you
to like
wouldn't
bite
let-
my throat
Yeah,
off.
if you wouldn't let Dixie chew the collar off of you while you're.
That's just a
Sitting there.
temporary pinky boy.
That's Dixie's collar when she was a puppy. That shows you how much she grew. But yeah, we'll have to get Dwayne set up on StreamYard. Yeah, I'll get you set up, Dwayne. It's pretty cool. Oh, Dakota, if we get Dwayne on here, the stories we can tell, brother, of either four-wheeling. This one time we was going to the falls, and Dwayne had this, Dwayne had a Toyota pickup that we done a straight axle swap on. It was, what was that, a 90 or 91? Toyota Hilux, short bed, regular cab. We done a straight axle swap on it with a 85 axle and leaf springs. We had like, I think you had what, your 35-inch grabbers on it that day. We're down the falls. I got my Samurai. Dwayne's following me in his Toyota. You and Kayla. Who else was in the front seat with you? Was Dina with you guys in the front seat that day? I can't remember who was in the front seat. Might have been Dina Grab. Who was in the front seat with you that day you flipped it over, Dwayne?
Yeah, with me in the back.
Oh, we'll get him to talk. But
You did.
Dwayne has like, how many of you was? There was 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 of them and you, right? Yeah. Okay, so 3 of them. There was 3 of them and you. there's like 4 people in the bed of this truck. What's up, Bear Rose Garage? How's it going, buddy? Yeah, it was a 91. So there's like 4 or 5 people in the bed of this truck on 35s, and they're going down. Dina was in the cab. I thought Dina was the one in the cab. So we're going down to the falls, and we're going down to swim that day, and that's why he let them people ride in the bed. We wasn't going 4-wheeling. We was just going to ride down the swimming hole, because normally we don't haul people like that, because we're the kind of guys when we go off road, usually, you know, everybody's either got to be in the cab or under a roll cage and buckled in to be safe. So, you know, we're just going to ride down into the swimming hole to go swimming. Well, there's a couple big holes down here where we go. There's this one big hole called D9, because you could literally bury a D9 blade or dozer in this thing. No problem. So probably a few minutes before us getting down there must have been guys down there in other trucks. And this stuff down here is like a red clay. And you guys from the south know what the red clay is. It basically turns to grease when you add a little bit of water to it. It's slippery. So I come through, and I barely sneak through around to get past this big hole and make it through, and I'm almost to fall. As I turn around, as I look, Dwayne, he's trying to go around this big hole, and there's just the path is just wide enough for the truck to barely fit without going either way into either hole. There's a hole below it, and there's a hole above it, and the road's like off camber, leaning to the right-hand side. So you got to get close to the big hole on the left and like hang your tire just over the edge a little bit so it holds you from sliding to the right into the bottom hole. Well, Dwayne does this, his back driver's side tire drops into that big hole, which normally if it's just Dwayne and Kayla and one other person in the cab of this truck, it's perfectly fine because the truck's not top heavy at all. When that back tire slides into that hole, everybody in the bed of the truck that was sitting in the back getting a ride down to the water all slid back to the back driver's side corner of the bed. Well, you know what that instant shift of weight causes. When they did that, I'm sitting there watching the truck just slowly, like in slow motion, just went and laid over on its side and dumps everybody out in the mud. Funniest thing you ever seen, because Andy, he goes head first in the mud. He his dad pulled him up out of the mud by his feet. I mean, he's like thick clay mud from like his waist up, because he like lawn darted in this mud, because the mud's so thick in this thing. It's kind of the mud you step in and you pull it out and your shoes gone. It's like thick like quicksand, but clay. So Andy's head first. His dad pulls him out by his feet. He's there crying. He's like, "Oh, this is like the worst day of my life." And we're all laughing because nobody's hurt. You know, we're just glad that nobody got smashed by the truck or anything. And we're standing there laughing. The truck's laying on its side. The crowd's all gathering, looking at the bottom of the truck, checking out our work. We're like, wow, people get to see our straight axle work on the truck. It was crazy though, man. It was one of them things. If we had video, some of the stuff we did down there 4-wheeling at the falls for all them years, if we had video of that, man, we'd be big. I mean, I used to, years ago when I first made this channel, back in like 2014, I used to have some 4-wheeling videos up, but they had copyright music on them, so I took them down. But we had videos of us snow wheeling and running through the woods. Oh yeah, you was in the cab, yeah, holding your breath while they're trying to climb out on top of you. Yeah, that's what I was talking about Andy when he's like, "It's the worst day of my life." Dwayne says he's holding his breath. Yeah, because Dwayne was on the driver's side. The driver's side was in the water. So just like from the window to the sun visor of the cab was under the water. So Dwayne's underwater in the driver's seat. Kayla's in the middle. Kayla's got enough sense to like climb off of it quick, and Dina's standing on top of both of them trying to climb out the window. That was funny though, man. That was a good time. That's I said, we got so many stories of strange things that happened down there. Or the places we've been, like places like when Annie was a baby and we had that ranger clear down in Cass Parish by ourselves. I mean, if we didn't have experience 4-wheeling, you know, I mean, it would probably been dangerous, but we managed to get her in and out, not hurt her, and always get her home. Yeah, we always had fun, man. It was a good time. Definitely a good time. Oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, I guess we'll get back to originally what we was talking about. So we're back to running the Monte Carlo. I took the Cutlass off the road for now because I want to get that twin turbo set up for it for next year. So, but that's going to be a long-term project. Tommy's got to get his Honda. When he gets in here, we're going to start on that. We'll have some videos coming. If we got any Honda guys that are into, it's a 97 Civic Coupe and it's a D series motor. We're going to be doing work on it. Probably going to be pulling it out, going through it, Vitara pistons, better rods, you know, a cheap eBay turbo kit, and see what we can do with it. You know, just normal things like they used to do, what you call it, the Mitsubishi Eclipse injectors when they used to put them in Hondas, and you get the different driver for the different impedance injectors and things like that. Or we might even set him up with just a rising rate fuel pressure regulator for now, just a boost reference one like old school. We don't want to make a whole lot of power with it, but just enough to keep him interested. It's already got one on there. He wants a straight pipe. So I don't know. It's already got a port cam muffler on it. Originally, when his sister bought the car, the guy that had it, the guy already swapped the one because I think the car was originally was a D16Y8 or a D16Y7, and they swapped the Y8 intake on it. Because remember that the early ones, like the 96, 95, the intake, the throttle body was right on the intake, and it just had like that rubber elbow for the airbox to come off of it. And then the intake, someone swapped the aluminum log style manifold onto his D series motor in that 97. But he wants to boost it, so he wants to boost it. He wants to be able to keep the AC in it, and we got to do a clutch upgrade in it, probably little stuff like that. But that's his plan. He wants to make it at least hang with stock V8 cars, mildly modified V8 cars. So he said he wants to bring a Honda and outrun some of these slow Dodges. No, he didn't say that. If I can get that car running, you know, if I can get it running 9, mid 8s, maybe high 7s, we'll see where it goes. Just getting maybe, you know, even if it runs like, you know, a 790 or something, that'd be plenty good for him to get out and bracket race it and have a little bit of fun with it. I don't want to give him too much power on it because I don't want him to start shredding the transmissions. And like I said, with Josh Addis and seeing everything he put into his, he had that 800 horsepower Honda Civic, and it shredded transmissions pretty much every other run. It would shred a transmission. So, but that was case swapped and all that. We're gonna see. Like, so realistically, with his D series, we're gonna try to shoot for like 300 horsepower, 275, 300 horse, which factory it's like what 90 or 100 horsepower. So I mean that's a big increase in power, but we don't want to go overboard. We're just gonna get it turned up a little bit. Front end rebuild kits. What do you need recommended for? What do you think, Dawn? Which car are you rebuilding the front end on? I'd say, yeah, 300 is respectable for a little 1.6. I know what you mean, Bear Rose. He has 16. I don't want to give him too much. You know, handing too much power would be like giving a toddler a loaded gun to play with or a lighter and some dynamite. So we don't want that. Well, I'm going to let him build it up slow. I'm going to show him how to port the head, make a little bit more power, and then walk him up to a turbo, and let him learn at Hard Knocks like we did. He's just lucky that we got him to make more power. I mean, I don't know, Dawn, on them rebuild kits because Moog anymore. It seems like their quality sucks. I mean, maybe if you can find an old stock, you know, maybe look on eBay and find like a new old stock kit or something. Yeah, I know. Well, we was just talking about that, Bear Rose. I remember when I had probably 250 horsepower, and we thought we was John Force doing burnouts out there. I know exactly what you mean. 62 Valiant, we need to order for the mid 70s, get upgraded to disc brakes. Okay. Hey, that would be my recommendation first, would be see maybe if you can find like a new old stock, just search eBay on that and see. I know with like the Honda front end parts, which is completely different, but we learned we was buying stuff on Rock Auto for it, and if we bought the cheap stuff, it would wear out quick. I mean, she'd literally go through like tie rod ends in less than a year with all of her driving. And then we started putting the better stuff on it, like the mid grade stuff, and they started lasting. So I know, like currently Moog stuff, I think has been moved overseas, but I think you might be able to find some old stuff for a 70. Hopefully, that would be my guess first. I maybe check eBay first and see if anybody got any old stock stuff like that laying around. Yeah, I know what you mean about that. You probably need ball joints, bushings, everything. These roads around here, Dawn, don't take long to beat a front end out. You can take a new car and the front end's beat out from underneath it. A few thousand miles. I know all about it. But yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. That would be my guess. I would look online, go maybe try eBay, like I said, because someone might have some new old stock Moog parts or even some OEM Chrysler stuff might be laying around. Reasonable. Yeah, good luck with parts, Keith Hilljack. Yeah, we've had good luck with parts. Like I said, you just got to watch sometimes that I know with the suspension stuff, if you get to really deep bottom of the barrel economy stuff, it doesn't seem to last. Something like a Valiant, I mean, that geometry on that front suspension, how everything works together is, really important because it's a really great handling and a well engineered front suspension, but it just everything needs to be tight and work well. And you don't want Dawn to put ball joints on it and have them wear out, 8,000 miles, and have to put new ball joints and bushings back in the thing. So that would be my guess first. If not, I don't know. Just stay away from the cheapest stuff would be my recommendation on that. I mean, some things you can cheap out on and don't matter, but yeah, suspension components. I mean, polyurethane's nice, but remember polyurethane's noisy and polyurethane does ride a little bit more. You get a little bit more, noise and vibration, just harshness from the suspension with polyurethane. But the thing about polyurethane is like oil and gas and stuff, and just UV itself doesn't cause the stuff to disintegrate in a couple months or a couple years. That's the bad thing about what happens with rubber. Rubber turns to mush when it's exposed to motor oil. So that would be my guess. Let me write it down. I could look around, but that would be my recommendation. Maybe go to a forum and ask somebody. I know Yellow Bullet's still out there. There's a few other forums out there. There's maybe someone there on the Mopar forum there might be able to know somebody that has a good kit. Maybe ask about to see what they've used. Because the whole market's full of Chinese garbage right now that isn't worth the cardboard box that it comes in. And then again, there's guys out there that rename this stuff and try to sell it as higher end parts, and it's just cheap Chinese garbage. Parts Geek. Like I said, we've had good luck with Rock Auto, but like I said, Rock Auto, you just can't buy. If you go under Rock Auto, like Honda tie rod ends, they'll have ones for like, $3.99. Then they'll have one like a little bit better for like, $12.99. Then they'll have one for like 25. Usually we get the mid grade stuff seems to last a little bit longer. Ideally, it'd be if you could get OEM Chrysler parts. I mean, the stuff on there has lasted this long. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the cool thing about that is that. Hey, what's up, Buck? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Yeah, that's the ticket. If you can find a parts store like that, that's it. years ago like that, we had everything brand new for the Cutlass to rebuild the front end on it. And we had a house fire and lost everything. Yeah, you got to be careful with their shipping. Yeah, I know that. And like I said, you got to watch too with their really cheap line of parts. Is it Mopar City has a lot of new old stock parts? They want too much. Yeah, well, there's the thing though. If you put OEM factory Dodge parts on it, there you go. That front end's been together for 50 years. Even if it costs him double what a cheap parts store rebuild kit, if he puts that on there and it gets another 50 years out of it, I mean, if he's in my situation, he'll never have to worry about it again. If I can make parts on the front end of the Cutlass last for 50 years, I probably won't have to deal with them again. Because even if I am around, I'm going to be old enough at that point. I ain't going to jack it up and work on it. It'll be somebody else's problem. It'll be Tommy's problem. It'll be his car then. That's kind of like when we got the steel roof for the house. That's that guy. He's like, "Oh, do you want the 40-year warranty?" I was like, "Nah, kids can deal with it. 30 years is plenty." But in reality, that stuff lasts forever. But it was just funny to watch his reaction when I said that. In 40 years, I wouldn't have to worry about replacing the roof. It'd be someone else's problem. I guess we're here though in about 4 more minutes, about 9:30 or so. We're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, do it once and be done with them parts. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to Dawn. I mean, that Chrysler front end with the torsion bars and that, I mean, it's an engineered marvel. It works so well. It does. And it'd be a shame to screw that geometry up with junk parts. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to put some Chinese crap on there that you got to change every couple years. So, I mean, yeah. Pat, like my recommendation with the Coronet, don't do what these boneheads are doing of taking the torsion bars out and put coilovers on it. Because, I mean, I don't understand why people do that. That torsion bar front end is that's just an awesome setup for a car. And I never understood why these guys like building Cudas and stuff would take the factory leaf spring torsion bar system that works so well, and they claim that they're going to hot rod it, and they cut that out and put a 4-link and put coilovers in the car. So why? I mean, Mom Mopar definitely knew what they were doing when they designed that suspension. Don't mess with something. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Yeah, that's what I would say then. Yeah, Dawn, if you can find, maybe check out that Mopar City. I mean, even like I said, even if it costs double or what the Chinese stuff costs, it'd still be worth it in the long run. Just like, yeah, do it once and be done with it. Definitely, if you got it, if you put a cheap China kit in there and it lasts 5 years and you got to redo it again, yeah. Yeah, you got to put frame connectors front and back. It depends on the power you're making, but I mean, I don't know what kind of power you're making there. So, I mean, subframe connectors to me in a sub 500 horsepower car is really not needed. But especially if you're going to cage the car, don't worry about connecting the frame right now because the cage will tie in. You just put them in. If they're in, it's not going to hurt anything having them in, but you probably didn't need them. That's all. I mean, a lot of them guys, like with them older second gen Camaros and stuff, they would end up making them too rigid sometimes. And they'd weld the subframe connector, then you'd hear the doors bouncing in the doorway or in the door frames every time you hit a bump. If they're already in, it's fine. Like I said, it's not going to hurt anything. I'm just a proponent on that stuff. That if you're not making the big power, like I said, try not to. The original stuff works so well. Try not to re-engineer the wheel. We tend to do that as hot rodders. We do that a lot. Yeah, let's see a 4 link and a 6 Mustang. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. 440 in this one. I made sub connectors already. But, the front to back. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, you guys know what I mean, though. I mean, with these older cars, yeah, that Mustang, the Ford suspension, because it had the axle was mounted pretty much center of the leaf spring. They suffered from a lot of axle wrap. I can understand 4 link on that car. Like I said, Mopar was smart enough to locate the axle in the front third of the spring and, basically make it its own traction bar. So I can understand 4 link in a GM. Well, the GM leaf springs work good in the dirt. I know around here on our dirt track that the second gen Camaros and the 68 and up Novas do really well on the dirt track with the leaf spring. They seem to bite harder than the coil spring like Monte Carlos and stuff. Yeah, unibody cars are different than body on frame. I agree, but at the same time, I don't know. Even a Chrysler unibody car to me seems a lot more rigid than some of them. But guys, I guess so. We're gonna get ready to get off of here, get tied up. Don't want to keep everybody too late on a Sunday night. So I thank everybody for stopping in. Dawn, thank you for stopping in. Bear Rose, awesome, man. I was gonna jump in last night, but I didn't. With everybody on there, I didn't want to jump in there and take anybody else's time. Maybe next week I get a chance, I can pop in. It was good seeing you guys. Pat, I'll catch you later. Thanks for popping in. Unfinished project. Buck does it. Dwayne. Everybody here, man. Hill Jack, Dawn and Wendy. Everybody, man. Thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. It's been good, man. Hey, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. We understand. I love you guys, man. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come listen to me rant and rave. So, with that said, we'll catch you later. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday. Remember, like I told you, you can sleep in your car, but you can't race your house. Good night, everybody.